The call came at 7:12. She leaned against the counter, arms crossing slowly, like she was bracing for weather she'd seen building for years. My sister has always preferred preemptive strikes. In childhood, it was small things. Telling teachers I'd broken something before I even knew it was broken. In adulthood, the stakes got larger. Stories shaped just enough to tilt sympathy her way. Emergencies that placed her at the center of attention. But this was different. Death isn't a minor exaggeration. It's a declaration of narrative ownership. "You should come Friday," she added. "It's already arranged." I looked at Mom. She exhaled through her nose. Not anger. Something more clinical. "Which hospital?" I asked. Another half-second. "St. Mary's." Mom mouthed, "I've never been there." Silence stretched between us, my living mother and me, while my sister constructed logistics around a corpse that didn't exist. And then Mom stepped forward. She didn't snatch the phone. She didn't shout. She simply leaned closer so her voice would carry. "Hello," she said. One word. On the other end, there was nothing. Not even breath. Mom repeated gently, "I'm not sure who died last night, but it wasn't me." If there had been static, it would have felt less sharp than the silence that followed. Finally, "What?" My sister's voice fractured, then reorganized. "I was told." "By whom?" Mom asked. Calm. Even. No accusation. Just fact-checking. The lie couldn't stretch any further without collapsing into absurdity. There was no performance left to escalate to. You can't double down on a death certificate when the deceased is speaking. My sister's tone shifted into something brittle. "There must have been confusion. Confusion doesn't invent lawyers and inheritances." Mom didn't argue. That's what changed everything. She didn't defend herself or demand apology. She moved directly to consequence. "I'll be calling Mr. Adler today," she said, referencing her attorney. "If there's confusion about my estate, that's my responsibility to correct." Her words were tidy. Administrative. "I want clarity," she added. "For everyone." There it was. Not punishment. Not rage. Documentation. My sister inhaled like she might pivot to tears. But no tears came. Only a strained, "Fine. Do whatever you think is best." The call ended without goodbye. The kitchen felt smaller afterward. Mom placed the towel on the counter and sat down. She wasn't shaking. She wasn't crying. She looked older than she had yesterday. "She's been telling people I'm fragile," Mom said quietly. "That I forget things. I hadn't known that. She's been asking about my accounts, my passwords, saying she needs to prepare." The word hung there. Prepare. I realized then that the fake death wasn't impulsive. It was a probe. A test of how quickly she could secure narrative authority before anyone verified facts. Mom folded her hands together. "I thought if I ignored it, it would stop. It never does." That afternoon, she called her attorney. I sat across from her at the dining table while she put him on speaker. There was no drama in the conversation. Just timestamps, clarifications, and instructions. "Yes," she said evenly. "I'm fully competent." A pause. "No, there has been no hospital admission." Another pause. "I would like the power of attorney clause revised." That was the moment control shifted, not emotionally but legally. Tangible. Recorded. When the call ended, nothing celebratory filled the room. No relief washed over us. Just a new awareness. The line had been crossed in daylight. 2 days later, my sister texted as if nothing had happened. "Hope you're okay." No reference to the funeral she invented. No acknowledgement of the will she claimed to own. Mom didn't respond. Weeks passed. There were logistical changes, bank authorizations adjusted, medical contacts updated, paperwork notarized. All quiet, all procedural. My sister wasn't removed from everything. She was simply no longer positioned to act alone. That distinction mattered. We never had a dramatic family reckoning. No tearful summit. No shouted confessions. But something irreversible had occurred. Manipulation thrives in shadows, where doubt can be planted without witnesses. That morning the light was on. The lie had air. and it couldn't survive it. Sometimes I replay the call in my head. Not the accusation, not even the exposure, but the silence after Mom said hello. It wasn't shame I heard. It was recalculation. I don't know what my sister tells people now. Maybe she reframes it. Maybe she convinces herself it was a misunderstanding. But documentation doesn't misunderstand. Mom is still alive. She gardens in the mornings. She forgets small things sometimes, like where she left her glasses. She is not fragile. She is not confused. She is careful now. And so am I. There was no victory, no applause, just a quiet understanding that once someone announces your death to secure power, you stop pretending it's a personality flaw. You start adjusting the paperwork.